Sorry, I'm a couple minutes late here. I'm here now, and I'm glad that you are also here. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say Jason and Susanna are watching. Maybe Mary, Ava, I know you just logged in. Carrie, I think you watched this stream. So glad to be here with you guys on Monday morning. So I just wanted to start with a real silly anecdote from this morning. My husband and I woke up and I asked him, how did you sleep last night? And he goes, I woke up because the cat was meowing, and then I got up and woke up our daughter and blah, blah, blah. And he goes, I went in the kitchen and the cat had pooped in the kitchen and I didn't clean it up. So that's like now my cross to bear. And then he's like, cross to bear, that's like kind of a heavy, it's kind of a heavy phrase. And I was like, yeah, are you comparing yourself to Jesus? Like you have to pick up this cat poop? Like you're bearing the weight of the cross? So I was just cracking up about that. I was like, that's a hilarious thing to compare having to pick up cat poop to, and very inappropriate. So anyway, my point being though that, what I think he was expressing was this feeling of like waking up with like the weight of the world on his shoulders to a degree, like waking up with this heaviness. And in turn, I kind of had a laugh about it, and that, laughter often lightens our load. So I was thinking about our yoga practice and how often, especially when we come together in person to practice, there is this opportunity to lighten one's load, and whether it's your own load that needs lightening or whether you're helping to lighten somebody else's load. And I think if you can look back to all the times you've come to a yoga class, whether it be online or in person, and there are days when, I suspect there are days when we've all come to practice with that feeling of heaviness, being weighed down by, whether it be very real struggles or whether it be kind of like, just things feeling like you're being put upon, real or imaginary. I know sometimes my weight is just a perception and not really weight at all. But anyway, you come to class with a feeling, and often your feeling at the end of class is that you feel lighter. And sometimes we do that for ourselves, and sometimes we're there to do that for other people. And I really think that's a gift of practicing together. And maybe we're getting a little of that online, and I'm just looking forward to being in person with you guys more again as the months progress here. So anyway, I'll stop talking up here and I'll start talking over there, which I think is what you guys really like. So here goes. Let's begin class sitting in Virasana. So whether you like to use a blanket or a block or nothing at all to prop this pose, get what you need. Knees together, angle your shins apart, grab the flesh and muscle of your calves, pull it back, and then draw your calves apart as you sit between your heels. Maybe pull the flesh of the buttocks back and apart. Create that connection between your sits bones and the surfaces beneath you. Close your eyes. Rest your hands on your thighs. And arrive. So, teaching under the assumption that many of you have done this practice with me before, at this time and in this particular space. So consider in the silence, if you had that habitual response to this time and space. So were you going through the experience of turning on your sensory awareness and inquiring about how you were feeling this morning? And have you already begun to notice your breath and even begin the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama? So if you have not, please do begin the practice of Ujjayi Pranayama. Breathing in and out through your nostrils and creating a gentle contraction at the back of your throat. And we'll work with the ratio of 1 to 2 today with the breath. So I'll lead us through 3 rounds of breath, and I'm just going to start us going from 4 inhale, 8 exhale, 5 inhale, 10 exhale, 6 inhale, 12 exhale. So if my count is too fast or too slow for you, then you can kind of gauge based on those 3 breaths where you're at when I let you out off the leash. So when I let you do your own thing. So let's go together. Exhale, empty the lungs, and then we'll inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Biggest breath. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, exhale 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So you might take a cleansing breath between that practice and now decide what numbers work best for your 1 to 2 ratio. And we'll go through 3 more rounds on our own. Okay, draw your hands together in front of your heart, and we will chant Om 3 times. Exhale, empty the lungs, and inhale for Om. Bow your head to your heart, release your palms to your thighs, and then slowly lift your head as you open your eyes. I forgot Lisa was going to be here this morning. Good morning, Lisa. I'm glad you're here. Bring your knees, come forward of your knees and come to standing. Take your socks, do or don't take your socks off, and come to stand in Tadasana. So look down at your feet, lift and spread your toes, establish the connection between your body and the earth. Yes, you are connected energetically with the earth. Ground down through the feet, tone the muscles of your legs, lift into the front of the pelvis, lengthen down through the tailbone, roll your shoulders back and turn your palms forward. You can either arrive in your mountain with your eyes open or closed. And as your next inhale happens, reach your arms up, look up, palms touch, and then exhale, gently bend the knees as you dive forward. Fingertips to the floor, release the head. Inhale, fingertips to the shins, shoulders on the back, lengthen the torso. And then exhale, fold deeply in, release the head, keep the hips high. Inhale, circle the arms out, up and overhead, reach up, palms touch. And exhale, gather the palms together at heart center. Again, inhale, reach the arms up, push down through the feet. Exhale and dive forward, synchronizing breath and movement. Inhale, come up halfway. And exhale, dive deeply forward. Again, inhale to rise, push down, reach up, look up, palms touch. Exhale, gather the palms together at heart center. Okay, from here, we're going to take the hands to the hips and step onto your left foot. Send down your root system. Create stability and confidence in standing on the left leg, and then we're going to bring the right heel to a hover. Reach through the heel, pull back through the toes, tone the muscles of the right leg, and start to establish your familiarity with standing on one leg this morning. Comfort and confidence. And then from here, we're going to bend the right knee. Bring the right thigh perpendicular to the floor and start to make big circles with your right toes. And notice which way you're circling. Did you go counterclockwise or clockwise first? Few circles in whatever direction you've chosen, and now a few circles in the opposite direction. Checking in on the joints this morning. Okay, so big circles with the foot. I always picture stirring a big cauldron with my foot. And then the other direction. Keep a steady, soft gaze, and then with the knee, one direction. And after a few circles, go the other direction. Exploring the range of motion of the hip socket here. What is that? um, so just be curious as always. ABC, always be curious. Okay, right heel to a hover. And then right foot down. We got a second leg. Right foot grounds, send down the roots, create the confidence. Left heel to a hover. Soften the gaze. Tone the muscles of the left leg. Left knee bends, circle with the toes. Do you go the same direction? I'm noticing I am always starting in the clockwise rotation. And then the other way. And now with the whole foot. Stir that cauldron. I was going to try to quote some Shakespeare. Double, double, bubble, bubble, toil and trouble. Is that from Shakespeare? Okay. Other direction. Clockwise, counterclockwise. And then big circles with the knee. Okay, other way. And then left foot back to a hover, pull back through the toes, and left foot grounds. Okay, stand again on the right foot. We're going to be kicking with reckless abandon soon, so make sure all pets are safely out of the way. Right foot on the floor, hands on the hips again, and then bring the left heel forward to start. And then arms relax down, then start to swing the left leg forward and back. Maybe start with caution before you start to gain confidence. Broaden the range of motion. This could be the goalie, the goalie's kick, the soccer goalie kicking the ball high up the field. Okay, so left foot back down. Let's do that on the right side. Left foot grounds. Or some of you like, when are we going to do yoga poses? I don't know. Left foot down, right up to a hover. Arms at your sides, and then swing the leg. Did anybody play goalie in soccer? For me, this is the best part, getting to just slam that ball as far as I could. The goalie the goalie is a weird position because they just have different rules than the rest of the team. They can only stay in they generally stay in one area. It's all down to them to stop the ball from getting in the goal. And they can use their hands. Anyway. Okay. Right foot down. Okay, let's do some arms. Grab your strap or your strap substitute. Take your feet hip width distance apart. Reach your strap out in front of you. And then pull your strap taut. So as you extend your arms forward, pull your hands apart and then plug your arms into your shoulders. So keep the strap pulled taut, arms long, and slowly start to lift the strap overhead. So knuckles over the shoulders. Ground through the feet, tone the muscles of the legs, lengthen down through the tailbone, lift out of the waistline, reach up through the knuckles. And then slowly, without thrusting the chest forward, keeping the low ribs knitted in and back, begin to draw the biceps back behind the ears. pulling the strap gently, slightly, subtly towards the back wall. So even though this is a subtle action, this is one of those things that you're not going to like go to your friends after yoga class and say, check this out. Look what I can do. But it doesn't mean it isn't intense. Okay, bring the knuckles back over the ears, so draw the arms slightly forward again, and then start to lean the upper body towards the left as you exhale. Inhale, come through center, grow tall, keep the arms taut, exhale, lean the upper body to the left, hips to the right, and keep going with the breath, tick-tocking like a metronome. Come back to center, widen the hands apart, and then begin to draw the strap down behind your back. Inhale, lift the strap up, and exhale, roll the shoulders back, bring the strap down. So exploring the shoulders here, and the strap can, the hands can be as far apart as they need to be. And as we, start to create more range of motion here with time and attention, you might very gradually start to bring the hands back together. You can see my little brown thrasher outside my window. Really great time of year to observe all the birds. Okay. So maybe you pause in one place where you feel, tight. And maybe you take one arm straight and bend the opposite elbow to concentrate more attention on the shoulder corresponding to the straight arm. Again, great reminder here to be curious. And let the strap go. Place it off to one side. Either keep the feet apart, or if you'd like at this point in the practice to step the feet together. This will create more challenge for your balance, but allow you to bend deeper in this back bend that we're about to do together. Okay, so ground through the feet, tone the muscles of your legs, interlace your fingers behind your back. Hug the shoulder blades together behind the heart as the elbows point back and tug in. With the knuckles at the low spine, lengthen down through the tailbone and lift into the front of the pelvic crest. So as you lift into the front of the pelvic crest, there's this tendency for the thighs to push forward. So lift into the kneecaps, push the thigh bones back, even as you lengthen the tailbone, even as you lift the front of the pelvis. Okay. Now turn the head up. Look towards the ceiling, open the throat, point up through your chin, and here we go, into the unknown. Okay, I need to stop doing that. Look along the ceiling towards the back wall, and then begin to extend your knuckles towards the floor, widen your inner elbows out, curl your shoulder blades to lift the back of your heart, and start to explore the ceiling gradually. Start to open up the front body gradually. So keep the legs toned, that strength and stability, that confidence in the legs. As you lean the upper body weight back, maybe the head releases back. And then chest comes forward, release the hands. Roll the shoulder forward, bring the head up last, and then let's shoulder rolls together, one direction. And then the other direction. Okay. Inhale, sweep your arms overhead, look up as your palms touch. Exhale, gently bend your knees as you dive forward. Fingertips to the floor or to blocks in front of you, and walk it out. Bend one knee, reaching each hip out and up, lengthening along the back of each leg as the upper body hangs forward. Release the weight of the head, relax the neck, and either continue with this side-to-side action or bring the knees together, lift onto the toes, and sink your hips towards your heels. If that felt okay for the knees, why not do it again? Around the low spine. And then we will start to dive deeper into our forward fold here. Bend your knees and glue your torso to your thighs. So pressing the two body parts together, belly to thighs. And then walk your hands behind your heels, lift your heels, and slide your hands beneath your heels. Pinky fingers touching side by side if in fact your legs are together. And then push your feet down, lift your hips up, continue this, continue your gluing by drawing your face towards your legs. Can you glue your face to your lower legs? Push your hips up, glue yourself together, lengthen down through the crown of the head, lift up on your heels, draw your shoulders up away from your ears, keeping the sides of the neck long. And in this intensified forward fold, you can remember the movement that we that we think about when we're doing waterfall pose. So as you inhale, you might envision energy flowing up the backs of the legs. As you exhale, that energy cascading down the length of the spine, down through the crown of the head. Clearing the channels. It brought to mind the idea of cleaning out your gutters. You know, if you have a bunch of leaves in your gutters, a bunch of debris in your gutters, then the water's just not going to flow. So in our yoga practice, we're cleaning out the gutters, making sure the energy is flowing smoothly through our systems. Then bring the fingertips forward, fold in. Inhale, fingertips to the shins, come up halfway, and exhale, fold again. So if the feet are together, keep them together. If the feet are apart, take a moment to reach for a block and place the block between your thighs. Okay, bend the knees forward, walk your fingertips either alongside your feet or behind your feet as you take a seat in your fierce chair, your imaginary fierce chair. Okay, round the spine, chin to chest, forehead towards or to the knees or block. Round the back body, creating space between each vertebra along the spine. Tuck the tailbone towards the heels, chin to chest, belly button towards the spine for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Push the feet down, lift the hips up, walk the hands forward, exhale. Inhale, round up, push down through the feet, reach up, look up, palms touch at the top, and then exhale, gather palms together at heart center. Again, inhale, sweep the arms up, and exhale, dive forward, fingertips to the earth, release your head. Inhale, lift halfway, and exhale, sit down into your fierce imaginary chair. Once again, chin to chest, forehead towards or to the knee or block, hips stay low, look forward, and then hold your box. Imagine there's a box between your hands and you're trying to give it to somebody and they're kind of like going away from you. You're like, take this box. I can't get out of this chair. My butt's glued to an imaginary chair. I'm trying to hand you this box. And oh no, that person started to climb a ladder. So take this box. It's really heavy. It's really light. Think about the box being light. Reach up, reach up, reach up. Stay seated, glued in your chair. Hug your ankles and knees together or hug the block waistline back. Look up, curl up for 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Stand up. And then gather your hands together at heart center. Perhaps close your eyes, reconnect with your breath. Feel the strength and stability of your legs. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Exhale, flow forward. Inhale, lift halfway. And exhale, dive in. Inhale to rise. And exhale, back to the mountain. Okay, so place your blocks on the floor in front of you, about shoulder width distance apart. We're gonna step, we're setting up for warrior 3 as well as half moon pose. So the blocks are gonna be about the length of your torso from the blocks. So I'm stepping my left foot, let's step the right foot down first. It's gonna point straight between the 2 blocks. And then with my hands on my hips, I'm gonna take my hands to the blocks and extend my left leg back. Well, hands are not on the hips, they're on the blocks. So right knee, right toes pointing straight ahead, hands on the blocks, left leg extending back. So make your left leg strong, lift into the inner thigh, even consider toning those glutes up as you push back through the heel. And then I have the blocks to a height where my torso is parallel to the floor. So for me that means the blocks are at their highest height. I am about 5'8". So I imagine if you are closer to 5 foot, you might have your blocks on a lower setting. I think it's just a height thing. Okay, push back through the heel, extend forward through the crown of the head, square off the shoulders and the hips. So the shoulders are an even height and the hips are at an even height. Okay, now we're going to see about extending the arms out to either side of the room. So you really change the weight bearing, the load bearing of this pose all onto the right leg. Okay, right hand, both hands back to the block. And then maybe adjust the block under the right hand to a lower setting. Bring the left hand to the left hip, and then start to stack the hips as you push down strongly through the right foot. Revolve the right ribs towards the left wall, push back through the left foot. Stack the shoulders, stack the hips. Once you have established confidence and balance, you might extend the left arm up. Continuing with that confidence and balance, you might start to turn the gaze up beyond the left fingertips. And, have some lightness here. That's something we can get bogged down in, like, oh, if I don't do this pose, I am failing my yoga class. But, that's not the case. Have a little levity about falling, about maybe the pose not reaching your expectation. It happens. Always be curious. That's my answer to not meeting expectations. We'll just stay curious. Okay, left hand back to the block, left outer hip rotates down, right hand back to the block, and then we're gonna walk the upper body folded into the right leg, and we're gonna lift the left leg high, high, high. So in standing splits, you can either try to keep the hips square, or you can start to lift the left leg as high as you can. So the left hip kind of stacks or lifts higher than the right hip. I find both acceptable. If you don't find both acceptable, do the one that you do find acceptable. And you might walk your hands back alongside the right foot, tone the right leg, lift into the right hip. Maybe you wrap your right arm behind your right leg. Maybe you wrap your left hand behind your right leg. Again, remember levity. Levity is helpful for balancing. The more serious you take the balance, the more heavy you feel, the more difficult it might be to balance. Okay. Walk the hands forward, left foot down. Whew. Shift those hips side to side. You know, you might have a natural instinct to move in a certain way after that sequence. Go with your instincts. Okay. Left toes point forward, left foot grounds, hands back to the blocks as we extend the right leg straight up and back. Knee and toes point down. Chin and chest forward, shoulders away from the ears. Tone that left leg. Wrap the right outer hip down, lift through the right inner thigh. Keep the shoulders just as they are. Take your arms out to either side of the room. Hard transition when the weight all goes to the left leg. So keep that left leg strong. Send down those roots through the left leg. And then both hands back to the blocks. Now begin to stack your right hip on top of your left, transitioning to Ardha Chandrasana. Maybe the left hand comes down to the floor or a lower setting of the block. Right hand might guide the right hip on top of the left. Keep the left toes pointing straight ahead. Tone the muscles of the left leg. Wrap the left ribs towards the right wall. Stack the shoulders. As you gain confidence, you might take the right arm up. As you gain curiosity, you might take the gaze up. And again, find levity. Falling out of a pose is not failing yoga. I think we all know that though. Look down, right hand back to the block. Re-square the hips, and then we're going to start to fold in. Walk the hands back alongside the left leg for our standing splits. Reach the right leg up. So again, either keep the hips square and try to lift the right leg as high as you can, or if you feel like bending those strict squaring hips laws, you might start to lift the right leg higher, lift the right hip higher. Left hand behind the leg, maybe right hand behind the leg. Again, sandwich the belly towards the thighs, face towards the shin. Okay, hands back to the floor, foot back to the mat. Again, move in a way that feels restorative. And let's come all the way down to our bellies. Chin on the floor, arms at your sides. Lengthen the legs back. Shimmy the hips from side to side. And then tone the right leg. Point back through the right toes. Engage the muscles of the right leg. Lift the kneecap. And then keeping the front right hip point on the ground, begin to lift the leg. Extend and lift the right leg. Extend and lift, extend and lift, extend and lift. And then release the right leg down, heel out to the right. Left legs turn, point back through the left toes, tone the muscles of the left leg so that the kneecap pulls in and up. The left hip point stays grounded. Lengthen and lift. Lengthen and lift. And release the left leg down, heel out to the left. Maybe shimmy the hips. And several options as we lift both legs together. So hands can stay as they are. If hands are remaining by the hips, I suggest that you turn the palms down like you're gripping the mat. Next option would be to push the knees down, lift the hips up so that you can tuck the shoulders forward And bring the palms together, or bring the pinky fingers together as the palms face down. So shoulders are rolling forward, and you might feel your chin pushing awkwardly into the floor. Bring your mouth down to the mat. Here's where you're grateful that you're not using a studio mat. Mouth down to the mat, lower your hips down, squeeze the mat a little with your fingertips. Draw the legs together, point back through the toes, and inhale, begin to lift the legs. Draw weight forward to the shoulders. So think about the shoulders tipping forward as the legs lighten. Lift and lighten the legs. So pretend you're a dolphin and you're kicking your tail, maybe even a whale, kicking your tail high up out of the water, your fluke. Lift the tail, lift the tail, lift the tail. And then lower back down into the water. Untuck your arms and either take crocodile pose with your arms crossed in front of you or arms by your sides. You might turn one cheek to the mat as you rest and relax. Reconnect with breath. Okay, chin back to the floor. Believe it or not, we're doing that all again. Relax the right leg, point the right toes, inhale, lift the right leg. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the right leg, heel out to the right. Point the left toes. Reach through the left toes, inhale. Keep lifting. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release the left leg down. Either turn the palms down at the sides of your hips or push the knees down, lift the hips up, mouth to the floor, shoulders roll forward, pinky fingers side by side, reach the fingertips towards the knees, and then lower the pelvis back down onto the wrists. Squeeze the legs together, point the toes back, inhale, lift the legs, shift the shoulders forward. You are a strong, powerful whale. Lifting your tail out of the water. Show the magnificence of your tail. Bring some levity to this shape. Lift, 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 lift. And then release the toes down. Untuck the shoulders. Cross the arms. Possibly bring one cheek to the floor and rest. Every time I attempt that pose, I remember Emily. I don't know how many of you remember Emily. I want to say her last name, but maybe I shouldn't. She has red hair. She's a very memorable person. But anyway, she would just, we would do that pose in class, and her legs would just fly straight up into the air. It was a beautiful thing. And she's a very beautiful person. So if you remember her, I'm sure you will remember her fondly. Okay, chin to the floor. Bend your knees, flex your feet, reach back for your outer ankles. Grab the ankles with both hands, tone the inner ankles and inner knees towards one another, roll the shoulders back, and then begin to lift the thighs, roll the shoulders back, kick the ankles into the hands, lift the thighs. Okay, as all of you know, I like to call this bow pose, and I was trying to make the mental connection for you guys, whether you want it or not, between this pose and that very memorable scene from the movie Titanic. And I just remembered that the classic line that goes along with the scene where the two main characters are on the bow of the ship is, I'm the king of the world. So bring some levity to this shape. You are the king of the world. Shoulders back, lift the heart, expose your majesty. Lift, 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 lift. And then release. Okay, back to rest. Big toes touch, heels widen apart. Mary had mentioned that she was going to do this practice with her daughter on the beach. So this is some great beach, some great ocean imagery we're generating here. So the reason I equate this pose to that, the bared chest maiden at the front of a ship is that we kind of are opening our chest to the elements and then feeling this nice rocking forward and back with the breath. So really trying to connect, reframe the pose to be something triumphant. Chin back to the floor. So let's do it again. Bend your knees, maybe flex the feet or point the toes. Reach back for the outer feet if the toes are pointed or the ankles if the feet are flexed. Either way, keep the ankles and knees hip-width distance apart and then begin to kick up. Kick to lift. Heart expands forward and then maybe noticing that rocking forward and back with the breath. Sides of the neck back, crown of the head lifts. Kick and lift. Feel your majesty. Feel your oneness with the sea. And then release the feet, other cheek to the mat. Arms at your sides, head relaxes, shoulders forward, release the legs. Okay, chin to the floor, tuck your toes. Send your hips all the way back to a child's pose with the toes tucked under. Rounding the low spine, reach the arms forward, release the forearms, the forehead down. And it is time now for our inversion practice. When I said it is time now, I'm like, I have no idea what time it is. But it is time for our inversion practice. So I am going to give a brief intro to headstand. So if you're doing headstand with me, you can listen. If you're doing some other inversion, handstand, forearm balance, go for it. So elbows shoulder width distance apart, interlace your fingers, start in the forearm table pose. Then tuck your toes, lift your hips. Looking between your forearms, walk your hands forward, lifting your hips higher into the air. Keeping your shoulders over your elbows, now lower your head down, tilting your chin towards your chest, landing the top of your head on the mat, cupping the back of the head gently between the heels of the hands. Press down through the head, press down through the forearm. Continue to walk the feet forward, and then how are you coming up today? Are you using the wall? In which case you might bend the knees into the chest, bring the hips and feet to the wall. If you would like to lift one leg at a time, I think we did this last week. So lift the left leg up, 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 up until the right leg floats up to meet the left leg. And then bring the left leg down, 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 using the abdomen to control that movement. And then the right foot down. Right leg lifts, up, 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 up. Left leg floats to meet it. Right leg down, 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 down. And then left foot floats down to meet it.
Together now, all together now. Waistline back, squeeze the legs, push down through the forearms, push down through the head. Legs overhead, heels over hips, hips over shoulders. Pelvis over heart, the center of the pelvis over the center of the heart over the center of the head. And then what are you doing with your feet? Do you like to flex them? Do you like to point them? Do you like to keep them hip width distance, or do you like to squeeze them together? All acceptable in my book. There are lots of books out there. Okay. Come down when you're ready. And if you want to come down with both legs, take the challenge, draw the waistline back, squeeze the legs gently in, lower the heels down, 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 toes touch down, and find your way into a child's pose with the knees together, toes pointed back, arms reach forward, forehead to the mat. Release the weight of your forearms and let the pose settle, reverberate. And I often talk here about the development of these yoga postures and how I think the system of yoga was developed by people being curious, people exploring, people doing different things, in the asana practice and the posture practice, doing these different shapes with their bodies, and then noticing the immediate effect of their efforts, and then the prolonged effect. So be a part of the tradition, the evolution of yoga, by being sensitive to your experience. And always consider this idea that, especially with the postures, you are the person experiencing these poses in your body. So when I say that this is the way I do it, this works for me, you might find that what works for me doesn't work the same way for you. So as you are on this journey, on this exploration of the poses, be open to the idea that what works for you might not be the same as what works for those around you, and what works for you might change over time. Extend the arms back, let the shoulders roll forward, changing from the child's pose to the embryo pose.
push your way up into rock pose. You might pull the heels together and then draw the flesh of the buttocks apart to get a better connection between your sits bones and your heels. You might really feel this in the ankles. So just a different way of exploring rock pose. Neutralizing the spine, moving from our inversion to a mild inversion in the child's pose and in the embryo pose, and now coming back to an upright spine. So notice this transition as well. There might be a sense of lightheadedness. You might notice for me, I always have like a blurred vision slightly. So what does this moment contain for you? Come forward of your knees. If you have blocks, place them at the top of your mat, shoulder width distance apart. We're going to bring the right foot forward between the blocks, setting up for a low lunge. You might place the padding in the form of a doubled up mat or a blanket or a sweater below the left knee. So hands framing the front foot, pull the shoulders back, broaden the chest forward. And then I'm going to take my left knee a little bit further back, keeping the hips and chest squared forward, and then send the hips back, right leg straight, fold over the right leg for a runner's stretch. And then if you'd like, inhale, come back forward, release the hips gently forward, roll the shoulders back, maybe even lift the gaze up, rocking the hips forward and back. So this is generally something we visit earlier in the practice. So notice how it feels placed at this point in the sequence. Maybe you're experiencing these movements in a different way. Maybe you find that you have a wider range of motion than you typically do when we do this at the beginning of class. So you can either continue with the hands on the blocks, or you can sweep the arms back as you fold over the right leg, and then reach the arms up, maybe even curl back as you send the hips down and forward. Okay, come back to the low lunge, and we're going to walk the right foot over to the right, bring both hands to the inside of the left leg. So we've been visiting this pose pretty frequently over the last several sessions. So right leg is hugging the outside of the right shoulder, and this might be an interesting place for the hips. If it's not so interesting, you might start to lower the chest towards the earth and bring the right forearm and left forearm down. If the forearms are down, you might consider interlacing the fingers or bringing the palms together in a prayer position. Right knee hugs towards the right shoulder. And then if you still are feeling curious about going deeper into these the hip, then you might lift the left knee. So tuck the left toes under, lift into the kneecap, use the left glutes to lift the left leg as you continue to melt the heart forward, pull the shoulders away from the ears, draw the right knee towards the right shoulder. Soften the edges of the mouth. Hands to the inside of the front leg. Frame the front foot again and send the right hip back. Fold over the right leg. Again, a runner's stretch, a little prolonged. Try to keep the left hip approximately over the left knee. You might walk the hands forward and melt the forearms down. Keep the right leg toned, pulling the toenails back towards the chest, right hip towards the back wall, lifting into the kneecap without locking in the knee. Okay, right foot back to the floor and switch sides. Right knee to the padded blanket or the double mat, and left foot between the blocks, hands on the blocks on either side of the left foot. And then hips back, left toes towards the ceiling, fold over the left leg. Inhale, hips flowing forward and down as your chest and gaze lift, curl in the upper back. So same thing we were just doing. Okay, if you'd like, arms back as you fold forward. Inhale as you melt the hips, lift the chest up, take the arms overhead, maybe back for a back bend. Okay, when you come forward next, walk your left foot over to the left a couple inches, then bring both hands to the inside of the left leg. Squeeze the left leg in towards the left arm. Choose to stay here or start to melt the chest to the inside of the left leg. Left forearm, right forearm down. Choose your hand position. Hug the left leg into the left shoulder. Dive down slowly as you reach each depth. Look around. Then right knee might lift, reach back through the right heel, lift through the right inner thigh, shoulders away from the ears. Okay, right knee down. Let's press back into our runner stretch. So left foot comes back towards center. Hands frame the left leg, hips back, hips over the right hip over the right knee. Fold in, maybe walk the hands forward, melt the forearms down. Okay, walk yourself back up, downward facing dog. Press the hands down forward, reach the hips up and back, release the head, lift the kneecaps as you lengthen down through the heels. Breathe here. And then lower your knees down. You might find a blanket, block, or a couple of blankets, whatever works best for you to sit in Dandasana staff pose with the legs forward. Draw the flesh of the muscle of the buttocks back and apart. Create that connection with the sits bones, arms at your sides, tall spine, knit the low ribs in and back. And then we're going to bend the right knee, Just slide the heel back, grab the outside of the right foot with the left hand, and then start to extend the right leg straight again as the ribs shift from left to right. So the chest opens towards the left wall. Push the foot into the hand. Extend along the outside of the right leg. Revolve around the spine using the strength of the abdomen from the floor to the ceiling. Right hand just supporting the back by just touching down. So you're not putting weight into that right hand so much as just using the hand to keep the chest up, the chest lifted, the spine upright, and then eventually take the gaze over the right shoulder. So the right foot extending and meeting with the resistance of the left hand. Okay, come back to center, back to staff pose. Right leg stays grounded and active. Slide the left heel back till you can grab the outside of the left foot with the right hand. Now begin to extend the left leg straight, lifting the left leg up away from the floor. Push the foot into the hand and then begin to wrap the left outer hip towards the floor, keeping both sits bones grounded. And then revolve right ribs, right abdomen, right side of the abdomen towards the left. Now I'm seeing there's a cardinal outside the window now. Do the pose. It's gonna recall that last weekend I had the pleasure of teaching an outdoor practice, and there was just a symphony of birds all around us throughout the practice. Look back, soften the face. So again, push the left foot into the hand and meet with the resistance of that hand. And then come back forward, release the right foot down. So I had this wild hair to do sundial pose today. So I just naturally just transitioned into a Baddha Konasana. So let's, I think that would feel good right now. So widen the knees out, take the feet together, extend through the inner thighs, contract through the outer hips, grabbing the ankles or the feet, pull the arms taut, shoulders on the back, shoulders down the back. Back of the neck tall, chin parallel to the floor. Root down very strongly through the sits bones in this shape. So sundial can be done, expressed in many ways. So I'll give you some options. So the first option might be to keep the left leg just as it would be in a cross-legged seated position. So that's option A, stay here with the left leg, or you can take the left leg into a half hero pose, half virasana. So that might require you to sit up on a pad, a blanket or a block, point the left knee forward and bring the left heel to the outside of the left hip. Whether you need it or not, it will be helpful to have a strap. So I'm going to grab my strap, make a little hole in it, loop I should say, a little loop in the strap, and place the loop around my right foot. Okay, I have not done this pose in a while. So bear with me. Okay, so right leg is going to extend out as I hold the strap in my right hand. I'm going to start to widen the leg out to the right. Now I'm going to take the strap, the loop, with my left hand, or if you can reach, bend the knee to grab the outside of the foot. So pull the knee back. Okay, let's rewind. Sorry. So your left leg's either in cross-legged seat or lotus. Take the strap around your right foot. Hold the strap with your right hand. Draw the knee back. So remember that lunge. We're going to draw the knee back to graze the outside of the right shoulder. So shin is perpendicular to the floor. Foot is pressing into the strap, and I'm pulling the knee towards the wall behind me. So now either pass the strap into the left hand or bring the left hand to the outside of the right foot. And then at this point, we're going to bring the left hand to the floor in front of the right thigh, keeping the right leg hugging in towards the right shoulder. Now, here's the kicker. We're going to start to kick the right foot into the left hand, and then try to extend the right leg straight as we revolve the right ribs forward and turn the outer left ribs towards the wall that our back is facing. So creating quite a stretch along the left side body. So as the left hip continues to ground, we're lengthening the left side body, and then the gaze may start to turn up beyond the left tricep muscles towards the sun. And Mary, if you're practicing this class on the beach, try to determine what time it is based on your yoga pose. Okay, because this is called sundial pose. Okay, right ribs forward, push the right arm into the right leg, open up, soften the face, and then release. Bring the foot forward, bring the shoulder forward, and we'll do that again on the second side. So either right leg in the cross-legged seated position, or send the right toes to point towards the back wall. Okay. Second side. So place this loop around the left foot. Draw the left knee back. So you're pulling the knee back. And then draw the arm to the inside of the shin. Pass the strap to the right foot. Or take the outside of the foot with the right hand. Draw the knee back, keeping the leg in close to the rib cage, close to the side of the body. And then left hand grounds. And then begin to extend the left leg out to the left. I'm noting a considerable difference on this side from the first side. So again, always be curious. Hopefully curiosity can bring levity to our practice. Gaze up. Push the foot into the hand. Draw the left ribs forward. Roll the right ribs back. Okay, if you're outside, tell me what time it is based on your pose. Okay, when you're ready, when you're done being curious, get on out of there. And let's take the legs forward in Dandasana once more. Set it up, grow tall, and then begin to fold forward, grabbing the outsides of the calves, ankles, feet. Draw the toes back towards the face, draw the heart towards the toes, lift into the kneecaps, ground through the sits bones, lengthen out of the waistline, and then you might release the head forward. Maybe find some support for the head as you release the head. Okay, take the 3-breath challenge. Upon completion of your 3 breaths, grab the feet, ankles, or outsides of the legs. Draw the chest forward, curl in the upper back, look up, open the throat, and then walk the hands back towards the hips and make your way to lying on your back body. Rapid deceleration here. So as we slow down, as we cool down, you might like to put back on some clothing or gather some comfort items, like a blanket or an eye pillow before coming to lie on your back. Take your arms out to a T and then sway the knees side to side, massaging the low back. Release the weight of the head. Release the arms. And bring the knees back to center. Draw the legs together. Lift the feet up. Cup the knees with the hands. And again, rock the knees side to side. Come back through center and draw the knees all the way up towards the armpits so the low spine curls up. Grab the feet, transition to happy baby. Pull the knees down side to side, quickly or slowly. Back through center. And one more time, Baddha Konasana, or bound angle, now on our backs. You can interlace the fingers around the outer edges of the feet or grab the ankles as you widen the knees out to either side of the room. Flatten the low back against the floor, keeping the head grounded. And now finally, draw the legs together. Gather yourself into a ball. Wrap your arms around your legs. Hug your chin to your chest. Tuck your tailbone towards your heels so that less of your back body is on the floor. You're squeezing into a tight space before releasing out into your version of Savasana, whether it be taking the legs up the wall, Viparita Karani, or lying on your back with a bolster underneath your knees or a blanket underneath your head, or you know your options. Consider your options and what feels suitable for you today. What is going to really make you feel welcome and supported in this position, this passive and somewhat vulnerable part of the practice. So you might do some ritualistic movement here, extending the legs, tucking the tailbone, unfurling the fingers, settling the shoulder blades onto the back. Take your time. Could you bring movement back to your fingers and toes? As you're ready, you might rock your arms and legs from side to side. Bend the knees. Extend one arm along one ear and then roll onto that side of your body, transitioning from our corpse position into a fetal position, signifying the transition from the practice. Ending of one cycle, the beginning of another. Press your way back up to a seated position. Gather your hands together at your heart, and we'll chant Om one single time to close the practice. Exhale, empty the lungs, and inhale for Om. Thank you, guys. I'm going to say Lisa, Ava, Jason, Susanna, maybe Carrie. I don't know who else was here. Mary. Whoever is out there watching and practicing, thank you for your patience and dedication to this practice. The light in me recognizes and bows to the light in you. Namaste. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what happened with my recording. Oh, I recorded for one second today. Probably won't be posting a podcast today. Sorry, Mary, if you were going to do the podcast. Now you'll never get to do a sundial on the beach. Just kidding. Okay, well, anyway, guys, I do have a couple more things to say now that I remember. So last weekend, I taught an outdoor class here in my neighborhood, and it was lovely. The weather was beautiful. The space is spacious, and yeah. So if you're interested in that and you receive the emails from Rhonda, that's what she's been emailing you about. So yeah, sign up when you get the email if you're interested in that. And the other thing is Rhonda and I are hosting a yoga social hour at the Hotel Indigo with that open air back patio if you've been there. So if you're interested, you're welcome to come meet us there tomorrow, Tuesday, the April 20th at 5 to 6:30, and we're going to be giving away some private lessons. So if you're interested in that, we're going to have a little door prize. So yeah, it would be great to see you all if you feel comfortable and safe doing that. Okay, I'm going to stop talking.